Summon House is an intentionally bad web series for bad people. This is a bold claim, so I will go through the evidence point by point. First, Summon House, the game, is bad. It is shoddily crafted and hastily put together. This should be relatively uncontroversial. I mean, look at it. It looks like a default Unity engine game that you could make in 2 hours. The menus are MS Paint scrawls. All the in-game dialogue is in broken English. Almost every video consists of the player slowly walking around, examining a few props, slowly walking back to bed, and then writing one word. The footstep sounds aren't even audio balanced right, they're too loud. The most excitement you get is an occasional weird sound effect and a brief glance of something spooky. The one interesting thing about the game, summoning, is almost exclusively used to summon a single low-poly 3D object, or a low-poly room with some low-poly furniture to examine. Granted, it is entirely possible for a good web series to center around a bad game, but I don't think that's what's happening here. Summon House, the web series, is bad. The first 4 videos follow the outline I just gave. Someone slowly walking around a low-poly 3D house and doing nothing. Of course, it's possible for art to be interesting and compelling in subtle ways. I do not believe the Summon House videos are interesting and compelling in subtle ways. I think that they're boring. In Summon House 5, an in-universe Summon House analysis video continues this trend. The narrator speaks in overly dramatic prattle and gives an extended, almost agonizingly detailed play-by-play of the boring videos that he just showed us. The narrator sees meaning in these videos. He sees this lighting error on the ground and interprets it as 7 triangles that must be important somehow. He points out other things as well, some of which may even be relevant to the Summon House lore. But what the lighting error demonstrates is that the narrator isn't reliable at noticing what's really important. He just pored over every minute aspect of these videos, believing everything to be a tiny part of some big puzzle. In reality, many of the things he thinks are hints are just meaningless. Summon House 6 is another meta video. An obnoxious droning noise plays in the background, while a raspy, down-pitched voice tells us about all the patterns it has found in the Summon House videos. It spends several minutes going over childlike notes in order to relay information that amounts to Summon House is a weird game where you can summon things. I found these videos and re-uploaded them. It's a recap that takes almost as long as just watching the entire series again. In Summon House 7, the Summon House dog shows up. Okay, I admit it. I have nothing bad to say about this guy. I love him, and I want to be his friend. Moving on. Summon House 8 is The Frozen Phantom. This is just not a Summon House video. The author of Summon House grabbed the most recent video in their phone's camera roll and put some title cards in it. Eventually, the titular Frozen Phantom is revealed to be a stoner who gives out weed that kills you. This video, like Summon House 5, is an in-universe horror video featuring a narrator who claims to be unsure whether the events depicted are real or fake. As far as I'm concerned, Summon House 8 is the gigantic flashing indicator for all those who will listen that if Summon House is a straightforward, spooky web series, then it is terrible. But is it a straightforward, spooky web series? The author of Summon House has created 2 previous web series, the first of which is AI Builds. AI Builds is structurally pretty similar to Summon House. It's a spooky web series where the main character interacts with a strange game that grows and changes over time. But, and here's the key difference, AI Builds is good. Animal Investigator, the game that AI Builds is about, clearly had genuine effort put into it. Between videos, the game actually substantially changes. There is a real story being told here with characters. There's an entire episode of a fake kids TV show, complete with its own banger theme song. The author has clearly demonstrated that they are capable of making a good web series, with a good story. By contrast, Summon House is bad. And it's bad in all the ways that a horror series is usually bad. It's about someone slowly walking around somewhere spooky before a loud sound plays and you see 3 blurry frames of a monster. The scary game that it's about is low effort. It's full of pointless puzzle box nonsense. All these little connections and mysteries that, even when you quote-unquote solve them, don't tell you anything interesting about the story or provide any actual insight. You can ponder the weird pizza orders and the non-existent Katy Perry songs and the out-of-date memes and the parallel houses all you want, but you will not arrive at any meaningful conclusions. It has a spooky, behind-the-scenes channel manager who's actually just weird. This is another subjective point, but I suspect the players and the people in the Frozen Phantom video were intentionally written to be annoying. And last of all is an argument that I feel slightly guilty making, but I feel a need to bring it up nonetheless. Long delays between uploads. Of course, it's entitled to complain about the speed that free online content is released. If the author simply decided to put Summon House on hold for their own reasons, that's entirely fine. However, when the web series goes on hold for 2 years, only to release a video that's exactly the same, except the house is purple, it's hard not to suspect that you are the butt of a joke. All of this makes far more sense if we adopt the theory that the author is intentionally making a bad web series. Even the best part of Summon House, the Summon House dog, is clearly a parody of a jump scare monster. Instead of screaming and trying to kill you, he peeks the mic and he wants to be your friend. Speaking of the Summon House dog, one part of his audio in Summon House 7 is reversed. If you put that in an audio program and reverse it, do you know what the secret message is? The secret message is, "I'm a dog." This is what Summon House rewards the perceptive viewer with. I haven't even mentioned the community posts. Consider this one, where the channel curator asks if they should add recaps to the start of new videos. No sane person would ever think that what Summon House needs is more retreading of the same ground. This is clearly a joke. But if it's a joke, whose expense is the joke at? What is Summon House making fun of? What's the point? First of all, Summon House is definitely a parody of bad web series. It's making fun of low-effort horror. But there's much more to it than that. The other web series by the same author is Film Student Thoughts. It's very short, only 3 videos, and it's about a stuck-up film student who doesn't understand anything and thinks that being a film student and critic makes him smarter and cooler than people who actually create films. In short, it is a hate letter to terrible media critics. And I think that Summon House is a continuation of that theme. But now, instead of just mocking the critics, the author is giving them poisoned food. They have created a slop web series in the hopes that so-called analysts will eat it up and produce detailed theories and videos outlining every little corner of the slop, just like Summon House 5 and Summon House 8. If this is the true purpose of Summon House, it would explain the repeated requests for fans to make theory videos. I believe nothing would give the author more satisfaction than to watch fans bend over backwards finding patterns in the garbage. But what if I'm wrong about all of this, and Summon House is just a regular web series that's a bit weird? In that case, well, I suppose I should apologize to the creator for insulting their web series. They must have done something right while making it, since I kept thinking about it long enough to make this video. And it's not like I can do much better myself. This video was made in PowerPoint, after all. And maybe there is some deeper pattern, some majestic theme hiding within Summon House. If there is, I guess I'm just too much of a film student to understand it. Thanks for watching, and remember, he's the Summon House dog.